Regarding the establishment of factories in the United States, Morris Zhang has always been opposed to it. He has repeatedly said that building factories in the United States is not cost-effective, and the United States lacks industrial chains and talents. In fact, as Morris Zhang said, the U.S. chip manufacturing industry has been silent for decades and has no industrial advantage at all. However, Morris Zhang changed his mind, saying that TSMC would also build a 3nm factory in the United States. What does that mean? Facing the bad intentions of the United States, does TSMC still have a backup? Morris Zhang changed his mind to build a factory in the United States. At its peak, the U.S. chip manufacturing industry controlled more than 40% of the world's production capacity. American chip manufacturing companies such as Intel, Texas Instruments, and GlobalFoundries flourished, creating one industry-leading technology after another. Today is different from the past. Today's chip manufacturing industry in the United States can be said to be barren. Lack of industrial chain, talents and advanced process technology, it is impossible to reproduce the glory of the year. Morris Zhang, who has seen the current situation of the U.S. chip industry, advised Liu Dayan to look back, emphasizing that the cost of making chips in the United States is 50% higher than that in Taiwan province. If you spend such a high cost to make chips in the United States, there is a high probability that you will lose money. Some people may have said that the United States has formulated a $52 billion chip subsidy bill, and TSMC may be able to share a lot of subsidies. However, the reality is that Intel has become the biggest winner of subsidies and can receive about $12 billion in subsidies. TSMC may only get about $4 billion in subsidies, which is not enough to cover costs. Therefore, Morris Zhang's exhortation is right. It is possible to cooperate with American customers, and the production capacity must be placed in the headquarters area. First, it can improve the independent and controllable voice, and secondly, it can control the cost of chip manufacturing. It's just that TSMC has finally taken the step to build a factory in the United States, and announced in May 2020 that it will build a 5nm factory in Arizona, United States. I thought there was only one 5nm factory project, but I didn't expect that Morris Zhang, who had always opposed TSMC's going to the United States, suddenly changed his tune, saying that TSMC would build a 3nm fab in the United States. 5nm will be followed by 3nm. No one knows whether a more advanced chip factory will be built in the future, but what is certain is that TSMC will never go back to build a factory in the United States. Morris Zhang changed his words. What does it mean? TSMC builds a factory in the United States, and the focus of chip production capacity will definitely change. 5nm is TSMC's largest source of revenue at present, and most of the 5nm orders are obtained from U.S. companies. In order to stabilize the revenue system, TSMC will definitely use the U.S. factory as an important production capacity output point. The production capacity of U.S. chip factories has increased, and the production capacity of the headquarters area has decreased. If it is only a 5nm factory, it can also stabilize the production capacity ratio of the headquarters area, but if the 3nm factory is also built in the United States, how much capacity will the headquarters area have remaining in the future? When the production capacity is gone, it will also take away equipment, talents, and economy. In fact, TSMC is chartering planes to transport equipment and personnel to the U.S. factory, which seems to verify the claim that TSMC is going to be hollowed out on the internet. Now even Morris Zhang has changed his mind and agreed to TSMC to build a 3nm factory in the United States. What does this mean? It may mean that TSMC will accelerate its investment in the US market and go all out to win orders from US customers. Maybe TSMC also knows that the United States has bad intentions. While inviting to build a factory, it gave the most subsidies to Intel, and also cooperated with Japan on 2nm to exclude TSMC. But TSMC has no more options. Analyzing TSMC's financial report, we know that more than 60% of its revenue is contributed by American customers. Competitors such as Samsung and Intel are also speeding up, targeting TSMC's customers to compete for order resources. If TSMC continues to put its production capacity at its headquarters, and customers will have a source of chip purchases in the US market in the future, TSMC's orders will continue to decrease. Therefore, TSMC chooses to accelerate the investment layout in the US market. Even if it is under the pressure of being replaced, it must strive for customer order cooperation. It seems that the establishment of a factory in the United States is effective. Apple said that it will purchase chips from TSMC's US factory. With Apple taking the lead, it is estimated that other US customers will gradually hand over orders to TSMC's US factory. Is there a way out for TSMC? Going to the United States to build a factory is a road of no return. The United States has tried its best to guide TSMC to make chips in the United States, not only to improve the industrial chain, but also to obtain the technical resources of TSMC one day, so that Intel can replace the status of TSMC and truly return to the past. The pinnacle of chip manufacturing. TSMC is just a springboard. Once there is no irreplaceable chip, it may be thrown aside at any time. Facing the bad intentions of the United States, does TSMC still have a way out? Actually, there is. Because under 3nm, TSMC also plans 2nm and 1nm chips, and these two major processes will be mass-produced in the headquarters area. TSMC is acquiring land for a 2nm chip factory, which can be put into mass production around 2025. As for 1nm, TSMC is also sure to land in Longtan, Taoyuan. It seems that TSMC still has a backup preparation, and when TSMC announced that it will build 5nm and 3nm factories in the United States, they have more advanced process planning. As long as the most advanced manufacturing processes are in their own hands, then the factories in the United States are after all backward processes. In my opinion, TSMC, as a global chip manufacturing giant, is the object that the United States is trying to win over. Morris Zhang does not want TSMC to build a factory in the United States, but it is difficult to recover. Perhaps what TSMC does is to ensure the leading technology. With technology, TSMC will have confidence. What do you think about this? Feel free to share in the comments below.